bloody good horror.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gerbs. It's another week. It's time for another round at Hero Siege with our little ongoing Let's Play and talking about some video games and all that good stuff. I am Casey, your host. You're watching BGH Video. And this is our little podcast setup where we're going to just talk about games, not necessarily about Hero Siege, because there's not much to talk about. If you've been watching these videos, you'll know that. So we like to get some other content in there, of course. That's not to say it's a bad game. I love it. I just can't get enough of it. But, you know, if we're going to hang out for 20, 30 minutes, we're going to have more to talk about. So here we go. This week, I still have not gotten started on the new content I've been promising in the last episode because motivation happens. It's sometimes a problem. And, you know, what are you going to do? But I have fired up Alien Isolation, and I am still planning on a Let's Play with that. But it's going to take some time to figure out how I want to work it, because that game is very talky. Lots of videos, and I don't like to talk during cutscenes, you know, because I like you listeners and watchers out there to be able to actually hear that instead of hearing me rambling on. But there's a lot of it, so I don't know if you want a 30-minute video just watching TV. That said, from what I've seen in Alien Isolation, story-wise, cutscenes look pretty awesome. So, might not be so bad, but we will see. We're going to try and get that going. The other problem, outside of motivation, is Divinity Original Sin. I fired that up about a week and a half ago, and oh my Lord Almighty, I got an old sock, nice. That game has its hooks into me very badly, and it is fantastic, and I cannot get enough of it. Today, I'm recording this on a Sunday, and it's the first time I've actually managed to stay away from it for a day. Though I've still managed to read forum posts and everything for tips on where I need to go next. I've finished nearly the first section of the game. I'm at about 12 hours in, so it's very lengthy, and there's like 3 more sections to go through from what I understand. So, yeah, there's some substantial stuff going on there, which is awesome. And I can't get enough of it. But it's, again, I don't really want to make a video of that because it's very long and detailed. It takes a lot of restarting, a lot of experimenting on my part. It's not that exciting for other folks to watch. But it's great to play. It also involves a hell of a lot of reading. So, which is fine if you are an RPG fan. You're used to that. But as a Let's Play watcher, you don't give a shit. Because I know I wouldn't give a shit to watch that. So, no fault to anybody there. It's just one we're probably not going to cover unless we just do a quick look at it. And honestly, that's all I've been playing. I've been happy because it's been the one game that's gotten me off of playing Binding of Isaac repeatedly over and over. I have not touched Binding of Isaac in a week. That is saying a lot. A lot. Especially for me. I've got a wizard class going, and a fighter, which it seems to be working pretty well for me. I picked up, if you're familiar at all with the game, I picked up Medora, the two-handed specialist fighter. She is a badass, despite, you know, her advanced age, as she points out. She is great. And I also picked up the Ranger Bear daughter or something like that, which I enjoy too. I've had a lot of people tell me on the forums that I should be picking up Jahan, the other wizard, because he's got healing spells and whatnot. But so far I've been doing pretty good without him, so it's a pain in the butt because after I run through a battle, I get my butt kicked, and then I usually have to go back to town, sleep in somebody else's bed so I can heal completely. I got enough spells to keep me, you know, in action on the ground. So it takes some finagling to get there, but it works, and I enjoy it. a lot. It's been a good setup. I'm about level 9 on most of my party, so that works really well. And I'm getting ready to move on to the next section, Ludculla Forest. I'm waiting for that probably for a day or two, just because I got some videos to get going to try and get this crap up to speed that I keep promising for a month now. And there's a lot of podcast business going on in the bloody good horror world and others, so that's exciting too. Now, speaking of podcasts, as of now, there's a whole new Instamatic podcast out there for you. If you're new to me, that is my podcast dedicated to Netflix Instant Watch films. Where this week we're watching The Goon, or just Goon, I should say, with Sean William Scott and Liev Schreiber. Excellent, excellent movie. So if you're interested in movies, be sure to check that out. If you're not familiar with the Instamatic, that is our show where we talk about nothing but movies that are on Netflix Instant Watch. Most of them are not horror, but it is on the Bloody Good Horror feed, so we like to give some variety out there for you fans and listeners, so be sure to check that out. Again, that's at bloodygoodhorror.com. If you search on iTunes or whatever your favorite podcatcher is for the Bloody Good Horror podcast, you will find us. Because we are on the same feed as the BGH podcast. BGH podcast has some new stuff out there too. We've covered our latest flick, which was Woman in Black 2, Angel Death. That one's out there now. You can also find our year end where we talk about our votes for best horror flicks of the year. So that's out there in the feed as well. Now, I've also got a newer podcast that some of you may know, not everybody, called Cinema Fromage Podcast, which is at cinemafromage.com. You can find us on iTunes and all the local regular places, for sure. That one is a podcast from my wife and I, where we discuss B-movies. Horror movies, direct-to-video is the stipulation. It's got to be one we've never seen before, so those come out every Friday. We're pretty into it. It's pretty exciting. It's going really well. We've had some excellent feedback. So if you're listening, if you're one of the listeners of that show that's left us some feedback, we thank you greatly. You may not have anybody Cinema Fromage-wise out there, and that's okay too. But you might check it out if you like B-movies. Our latest episode, we talked about the classic Ginger Dead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver. Yes, I do say classic with my eyes rolled and my fingers crossed and with heavy air quotes. Before that, we've talked about Exist, the new first-person horror flick from Eduardo Sanchez of Blair Witch Project fame, which is excellent if you're into Bigfoot, which I am. So good stuff there. My wife liked it as well, so ladies, you might enjoy it too. So yeah, I'm a podcast whore. I tend to like to hear myself talk if you can't tell. So we're out there all over the place. I could go on. I won't. I will spare you the gory details. They aren't that gory. But back to video games. So Divinity Original Sin is taking the bulk of my attention. Like I said, if you haven't played it, it's fantastic. I'm really in a big RPG mood, and that is a freaking perfect throwback to RPG lovers the world over. It has no quest markers whatsoever. You have to find quests and figure them out all on your own intuition, so you're not being spoon-fed at all, which is cool. It's very difficult. Some of the fights are hard. I'm actually playing that one on easy because I was getting my butt handed to me. It's one of those games you got to remember to save as frequently as possible. Your quick save is your friend because you're going to be restarting a lot. What else is on the plate? I got some games, some platformers to get back to here. I am going to do my backslog this week, starting this week on Friday, where we talk about 8-Bit Boy. To kick things off, that's the series where I'm going to start going through my Steam backlog and playing stuff that I haven't given much time to or played at all, just from bundle trash and whatnot. So we'll get some fun stuff in there. 8-Bit Boy is a lot of fun, though. I've played that a little bit. I do like platformers, and that is a great throwback to classic platformers. If you look at the developers page, awesomeblade.com, he talks about how it's his kind of sharing his favorite things about platformers, and it shows. The love shows a lot. It's really cool. There's lots of secrets. It's hard. It's difficult. So we'll get that going. I promise it's going to come this week. We're going to shoot for Friday again. Plus, I'm in central Indiana, which we're getting ready to be dumped with like a 1/4 inch ice. So it's possible I may be home for a few days. So that'll help with the gaming too. So far, Steam, after recovering from the sale, which is good, Steam's back to their daily and their midweeks and stuff like that. And thankfully for my wallet and for my wife's anger's sake, there's been nothing too exciting on their dailies and weeklies, or yeah, dailies, weeklies, and midweeks yet. So it's been pretty light in Steam world as of late, but that's okay because I have, as you found out last episode, I have a gigantic pile of games to get through that I picked up in the last sale. So we're good there. I'm not complaining. There's some fun stuff there. The one thing I did see in their midweek that I would like to try out, I think, is called Dive, which is you play divers running from killer sharks, and somebody on the multiplayer can play a shark. How does that not sound good? I've heard good stuff about the game. I've heard it handles well, plays well, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I would definitely like to try that. I had a good deal in the 4-pack, but as I said, I'm still recovering from that sale, so it wasn't high on my priority list to pick up. But it is on the wish list, so we will get there. If you've played Dive, leave some comments. Let us know how it is. We'd love to hear about it. It's good times. That'd be a good one, as I talked about in the last episode, that Eric, our editor at Bloody Good Horror, wants to get on and play some games with me and make some videos. That would be a good one, because you could play co-op, definitely play some co-op multiplayer and whatnot. So that's exciting as well. So we might get that going. He claims to be awful at games. I, as you can see, am not great at games, so could be a lot of unintentional comedy going on there. For you watchers, we get Eric and I teamed up. I am getting a hell of a lot of slowdown. I am not sure, but I think Divinity, surprisingly enough, for an RPG, may be wreaking havoc on my video card, which is a shame. I've got a GTX 660, which is not horrible. It's not great by any means, but it's not bad. It's a pretty decent, solid card, mid-range and budget. You know, it fits the bill, and I've never had problems with it. But as you can see here, in something as simple as Hero Siege, as of recording, I'm getting some frame loss. And Divinity, I start to play, if I reach about the 2-hour mark playing that game, it definitely starts to artifact, give me some glitches in the video and whatnot, which kind of sucks. So we're hoping we can figure that out. I've been digging in the forums a bit, and there's been other people talking of similar problems, so it's not just me.
I can feel the breeze of air going through me.
They've got some issues with their balancing and whatnot going on there in their system side, but, you know, it happens. It's not the end of the world. Let's buy us some stuff. Alright. Here in Hero Siege Land, I found they've made some changes in the amount of relics that you get dropped. I haven't had as many. Used to be like Binding of Isaac, and you would have boatloads of relics pop up, but I'm not seeing that nowadays. Here as of late in Hero Siege, which isn't a bad thing. It's just a change, and I don't hold that against him, but I do kind of miss having a lot of the crazy effects. Because you get some crazy power going and whatnot, which is cool. This frame rate has never been quite this bad recording, so I wonder if that's from an update recently as well. These guys are constantly updating, as I've said before, and they've got a lot of patching and stuff going on. They've been trying to fix some bugs, the multiplayer and everything, so I'm wondering if there's some stuff that got introduced that's not helping as much, because my PC is not quite this bad with the frame loss normally. So that's a little frustrating.
The arrows always hit the spot.
I've seen some other RPGs out there since I've been hitting it off so well with Divinity. There's another one out there. It looks like an old school setup type of RPG, including graphics. It's nowhere near as pretty as Divinity is, but it's called Lords of Zelemia with an X. That looks pretty fantastic. Excuse me. I've heard some good stuff about that. But it's definitely an old school, like the old. It's more like the old school Divinities before Original Sin than what the current Original Sin is. But it looks pretty neat from looking at the Steam page and hearing some other people's screenshots and talking about it and whatnot. So we're going to have to look into that pretty soon here too, because I am enjoying my RPG time here lately. It's really scratched an itch. I think it's good for the winter months when you're stuck inside. You got, you know, long weekends to do whatever you want. Seems to be a good time of year for RPGs.
Stay calm and aim.
Good lord, man, why is this so crappy? Here's a dungeon. Let's see if we can get in here and die.
This place is so dirty, just the way I like.
The dungeons have gotten very much more difficult in Hero Siege as of late. They were always hard, so they are much harder now, though, and they seem to be a lot more repetitive in their textures and whatnot, too, though. Seeing a lot of repeats of dungeons on the layouts and the design. Kind of annoying. Used to always be different, so yeah, this isn't gonna go well, is it? No, so that's it. Alright, well that's another episode of our Hero Siege Let's Play. We didn't get too far this time, but that's okay. We've got next Monday to try again. So stay tuned this week. You might see us playing some Alien Isolation. You're going to see us playing some 8-Bit Boy for sure. Stick around and see what else there is. And otherwise, head out to bloodygoodhorror.com. Check out our daily reviews and all that good stuff on horror movies. Podcast coming out the wazoo. There's a new Instamatic. We're going to be recording a new Bloody Good Horror podcast this week. Got some new Cinema Fromage coming on Friday at cinemafromage.com. And just all sorts of excitement going on out there in the world that is geekdom. So be sure to check that out. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at CaseyBGH. Say hi. I'd be happy to say hi back. I'm always happy to talk video games, movies, whatever. So again, come say hi, CaseyBGH. In the meantime, I'm Casey. This has been a Hero Siege Let's Play for BGH Video. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, bye-bye.